This is going to be an optional video on database currency versus amendment date. So you had a question on the court rules quiz that asked you to look at Mass Rule of Civil Procedure Rule 77 and figure out when it had been amended last. So a lot of you gave the currency date of the database rather than the last amendment to the court rule. So this is a problem or an issue that comes up not just in court rules, but it can also come up with statutes and regulations. So I want you to understand the difference here. So let's use our example from the quiz. And this is Mass Rule of Civil Procedure Rule 77 as it appears on Westlaw. And I'm going to use this picture just to point out a few differences. So if we're at this rule, Rule 77, and we want to know when the last amendment is, we would look down at the credits. And we can see that it was last amended on June 24th, 2009, and that amendment was effective on August 1st, 2009. There's a little problem with this, though, and that is that it has a red flag for new enacted legislation. So there was a new amendment in 2017 that's not showing up yet in the text. So if we just read this text, we wouldn't catch this new amendment. We'd have to click up here to this link. And worse yet, when I first wrote this problem, this did not have a red flag. The only place that you could go to update it to get the language of the new rule was the MassGov website that lists all the new court rules, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay? So when you're looking for amendments, you're looking at the credits, and then you have to think, has anything happened since this last amendment? So that's amendments, all right? So for currency, you click on this link, and it says, current with amendments received through January 15th, 2017. So what is that date, January 15th? That means that the whole database that contains all of the court rules for Massachusetts was updated on January 15th, 2017. So you're not getting the last time this particular court rule, Rule 77, was updated. All you're getting is how current is the database. So today is April 11th, and this database, the text of these rules, was last updated January 15th. So you can see that could be a problem, because if any new rules amendments have happened between January 15th and April 11th, you're not going to be able to see them here in this text. So that's why you have to look and see if there's a red flag, for example, saying there's been enacted legislation. And they don't update these court rule databases that frequently, so it could also be that you'd have to go to the mass.gov website. Okay, so currency is talking about the database. The credits are telling you when an amendment was made to your actual rule. So if you were to open up this enacted legislation 2017 Mass Court Order number 4, this is what the top of it would look like. It's telling you what the amendment is, and it's saying that it was amended on the 25th day of January. Okay, so you can see that it was amended after the database that contains the court rules on Westlaw was updated, which is why the text of this new rule wasn't contained on the screen on Westlaw. If that red flag wasn't there, if it was a yellow flag, you might have to go out to the Massachusetts Court System website, and I've given you the breadcrumb trail here to get to that amendment to Rule 77 of the Massachusetts Rule of Civil Procedure. If you were to click on this link here on this web page, which is a mass.gov web page, you would also get to the text of the rule change, and you'd see that it says that it was amended on the 25th day of January, and further down on this same PDF, you'd also see that it says that amendment was effective March 1st. So that amendment is current, it's effective, but the text of the rule did not change on Westlaw. So that's why it's important to be worried about these things, to understand that you need to be looking for these amendments. So The date of the amendment is January 25th, 2017, which was one of the choices on your quiz. The effectiveness date is March 1st. And here's a link to the PDF if you want to go look at it yourself. Okay, so hopefully that'll clear up the difference between the currency of the database and an amendment to a particular rule. And as I say, you might see this also with statutes and regulations.